Alright, ladies and gentlemen, Fab's in the house. And today I've got the Benchmade Bugout here for a review. As usual, we're gonna analyze the look, the sound, and the feel of this guy. But first of all, let's just do a quick size comparison. Let's do it up against the Griptilian, also from Benchmade. As you can see, pretty smaller than that. And this is your Paramilitary 2 from Spyderco. Also, another big boy compared to that. Let's just add like the Para 3 also from Spyderco, and you can see it's kind of like comparable in size. Actually, overall it's longer than the Para 2, but look at the handle size. Look at this. Para 3 has longer handle and shorter cutting edge. Something else we have here, let's do up against the Chris Reeve Knives Sebenza 31, and why not, let's just do up against the Holt Bladework Spectre. You can see, the handle is kind of comparable, but look at how much edge is packing the Holt. Very, very nice. So let's analyze the look of this guy, because this is a very, very interesting little knife. It's made in the US by Benchmade, has this, kind of like squarey shape. It's rounded off, actually. There's no straight lines, except for this one in the lanyard hold. But this is a gently curve here, sinuous curves, and another one. So, but overall, the look is kind of like a square. So very, very interesting design choice going on. This is a pretty classic design. Everybody knows the Bugout. Actually, this one comes with the G10 scales originally, and then you can just swap them with this titanium one, but it won't change the overall feel. Just a little bit. This is going to be a little bit heavier than the G10, but overall the size of this guy is 7.46 inches when open and 4.22 inches when closed. The inside of these scales, I don't know if you can see, there's partial liners like in stainless steel. They just get up to here with this screw. Everything else is going to be G10 in that case, and or titanium in this one. In this case, you have some skeletonization going on, and you have it as well in the original scales, which are also, like textured with this diamond pattern over here, and nicely chamfered to give you pretty comfortable ergonomic overall. There is not really much jimping going on except for this one over here. Nothing going on the blade, nothing going on the back. It's not really like functional, but it's something like to add a little bit of texture to the handle over here. You have this nice triangular kind of shape going on for the lanyard hole, and you have two nicely blued standoffs to give some rigidity to the overall structure. The lock release, it's like a axis lock, and then you need like to pinch with two fingers like that in order to be able to deploy the blade. You can also do this. You can use this method, or you can also do like that. It's gonna be a matter of option with which method you will want to use. It's going to be pretty straightforward to disassemble this guy. You need just to be careful with this Omega spring for the axis lock. But you're going to need like a T10 for the pivot and T6 for the handle screws. But it's not going to be too difficult to disassemble. The screws are pretty nicely indented. They're not protruding, so they're pretty flush with the handle. Just a little bit over here, as you can see, for the pivot. Not a big deal. It's pretty nice, overall. The clip also is pretty cool. It's very, very small and short. It's like a mini deep carry pocket clip. It's also functional because it's very, very springy, and you're gonna have your pocket going just up to here, so just a little tip is gonna be peeking out of your pocket. So very, very nice. The clip is reversible, not in this case, but in the when you have the G10 scales installed, it's gonna be reversible, tip up only, and it's gonna be fully ambidextrous because The axis lock has this nature where you can use both hands to deploy it, like, yeah, no issues whatsoever. The blade length is gonna be around 3.25 inches, and the material employed is S30V, and usually it comes like in a satin finish. In this case, the blade has been etched to give this like two-tone look, which I think it's pretty cool. Etched over here in the swedge, in the bevel, and main grind, and it just satin flats going on over here with these blue accents for the thumb stud and the screws handle. I think it gives a pretty nice and a little bit more classy look to the overall knife. This is a pretty cool drop point style blade. The stock thickness is relatively thin, and ends up in a quite fine tip, not too fine, but it's going to be a very, very nice slicer overall. The grind symmetry is very symmetrical in this case, and you have basically belly up to this point and then just flat up to the sharpening choil. The plunge grind, look at this, is very nicely done. Has a nice arc to it, and then goes up to this point where the the swedge intersects this line over here and reaches the point. So very, very cool overall look. There's not really any jimping going on the blade. There's no thumb ramp. You have just a tiny bit of chamfering going on in the spine. It's not really crowned, and you have just a little bit of billboarding. I mean, just the logo over here and nothing in the back. The sound this guy makes is very interesting because you can deploy this in a couple of methods. Like, for example, you can use two hands and have this very gentle click, or you can use like the axis lock. So just pull down the axis lock and deploy the blade like that. So if you do it faster, this is going to be the sound when you open it. When you close it, it's going to be like this and like that. So it's going to be a quite solid cluck. But if you decide to deploy the blade with the thumb stud, this is going to be the sound. So it's going to be a little bit more piercing and than this one. You see, that's one, and that's the other one. So it's going to be a little bit louder. But in any case, when you close the blade, you can just do this. And it's going to be like completely silent. You can just let it fall down. But in any case, the blade, the sound, is going to be very, very interesting and modulable based on the method of deployment you're gonna employ. Let's check out some feeling because this is a pretty lightweight knife when you use this kind of scales. In fact, it's gonna weigh in at 1.85 ounces. There are no hot spots whatsoever going on in the grip of this one. It's gonna sit very nicely in the hand because especially in this case, they're pretty nicely contoured. In this case, you have less contouring going on, especially in this side, but nonetheless, it's very well chamfered, and the overall feeling is gonna be very nice. So no sharp edges going on. Not really much jimping for the blade, just a little bit over here. And, you can even do like a reverse grip, and it's going to be, for example, in my case, just the right size to use the thumb like in this position. And it's going to feel overall it's pretty nice solidly in your hand. I mean, especially with this titanium one, but even with the G10, yeah, it's not gonna be too bad. Actually, with the G10 scale, it's gonna feel a little bit more grippy because of the texture in the handle. In this case, it's a little bit smoother than that, but in both cases, you're gonna have an overall nice sensation when holding this blade and doing your work. Also, the clip is interesting. There's a very, very short clip ramp over here, but the tension is very good. So once it's slided in your pocket, it's gonna stay right there. Also, something that I really like about this one is the deployment, the action, because it's super fun. I like to flick it open like that with a thumb stud, or you can just pull down the axis lock and just deploy it like that and close it like that. So you can be gentle and do this movement, as you can see, just very, very easy to do. It's a little bit awkward to do in, with the camera in this position, but you can be very fast in the, using the axis lock or with the thumb stud like that, or you can even do, like your Spidey flick like this. So very, very fun and enjoyable to deploy because the action is fast. This guy is running on washers, not on bearings, but the action is very, very smooth. Once you, you pull the axis lock down, look at this, you have just a free falling blade, very, very smooth and fast. And, there's no blade play. And in this case, the fit and finish is pretty good. You have, the blade is very well centered, I have to say, and overall the feeling is good. It's very easy to deploy. It's very easy to unlock. There's no lock stick unless you just like flick it very fast, and you have a little bit of lock stick. But this happens with all the Benchmades. As soon as you pull the lock back, it's the blade is gonna just fall like that, actually in the closed position. And if you angle a little bit the handle like that, the blade just falls like closed like that. And if you angle a little bit like that, and now it's difficult with the camera, but the blade just goes open. So very, very fun and playful. Also, there's a very strong detent suction, like from up this high like this, the blade is gonna get sucked into the handle. So very, very nice springy tension going on over there. So, overall, this is a very, very good EDC-able knife. It's a classic design. Overall, the look is good, I have to say. The sound is pretty nice, and the comfort of the handle is also very good. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned.